There's something remarkable about touch that brings about change in the most extraordinary way. This presentation looks at some of the amazing developments in touch within biodynamic craniosacral therapy and explores an evolving science. I'm Ged Sumner. I'm a co-director of Body Intelligence, and I've been part of a set of senior tutors that have brought BCST into a whole new paradigm that includes deep skills of touch, a powerful way of embodiment, and an inspiring relationship to our health. The therapy includes many different handholds for listening to certain structures and movements. The client lies on a treatment table to receive a 35 to 40-minute contact session. The client often feels unusual sensations as the body adjusts and aligns in its response. The therapy is deeply interested in the forces of health in the body. What commonly transpires over a number of sessions is the re-emergence of your health that manifests as physiological balance, stronger immune system, and better stamina, plus mental and emotional stability. The therapy is well known for helping babies and families come through the birth process. Many clients get relief from depression or neurological issues. A common experience in the therapy is the emergence of stillness. The client's body and mind enter into a place of innate stillness that allows the body to rest and recuperate. Energy levels quickly increase as your system moves to homeostasis. This is a powerful therapy for resolving trauma affects. Sympathetic activation releases in sessions and between sessions, allowing the parasympathetic system to re-emerge and create autonomic balance. The nervous system and fascial body commonly discharge. Chronic and acute pain can be treated to help relieve the body of strong effects. The body has the power to automatically adjust itself, creating better posture, stronger bodies, faster metabolism, more vitality, and more creativity. The relational field. Here's a picture of the therapist and client in the dynamic of touch and presence. The emergence of what is called relational field comes about from the right kind of contact that is embodied and listening. Here's a series of images that might help understand what goes on in the relational field. Two bodies with tendrils of connections, separate but joined. Circulatory systems start to synchronize with each other. Heart to heart and vascular system to system. The practitioner's autonomically balanced system has an effect on the clients. Often bodies start to slow down, heart rates come out of arousal, and vasodilation takes place, bringing the tone in the vascular body down. Are we not fluid? After all, we are composed of over 1 trillion water droplets in the form of cells. Bodies often reveal their fluid nature and become quite amorphous and express what is known as the fluid body state, accessing greater healing potencies. Collagen fibers cover the body from head to toe. These wrappings act as a remarkable fabric holding the boundaries of the body. They commonly unravel and find new states of balance to take the body into balanced tension. The body often twitches, shakes, or vibrates as this is happening. We are deeply connected to nature. We are part of our ecosystem. Often the body makes profound relationships to what is termed a wide field. There is a recalibration of the body and mind to reconnection with the natural forces around us. Interesting spaces emerge during treatment. These have their origin in the embryological development of the body. Forces of growth and forces of healing surface as this happens. Origins of health reassert themselves. Relational field attributes that make a difference in touch: embodied presence, state of balance awareness, relating to the whole of you and to the whole of the client, a light touch, neutral listening, waiting for things to arise, aware of stillness within self, within the client, and the therapeutic space. Healing hands. There's something extraordinary about the hands and touch that generates a deep response in the body. The hands are built to listen and sense the subtle movements of life. More on relational field attributes: postural alignment, non-action, non-judgment, orientation to tissues, fluids, and potency, knowing hands, acknowledgement of health, equanimity, detachment to the outcome, verbal communication with the client. Listening to the physiology. You have the ability through your hands to attune to not only structures on the boundary of the body, but also deep structures. With training, you can learn to differentiate between different parts of the brain, between fluids and tissues, between different tissue fields, and notice how their health is. There's great interest in living anatomy, and this picture is clues for what certain movements might be. Obviously, electrical expressions generally represent the nervous system. Pulsing is commonly to do with the vessels adjusting and coming into vasodilation. Vertebrae shift position by rotating or side bending. Muscles and fascia unwind and commonly lengthen. Holistic touch is a skill that you learn in the course. It enables you to be in relationship with both the local, regional, and global. If you hold the sacrum, you can feel what's immediate to your hand. But if you open up to the true nature of the sacrum, you can feel the sacrum in relationship to the whole spine. After all, it's part of the spine. And if you open up to the spine as the center of physiology, suddenly the body responds with greater depth and wholeness that leads to more profound shifts in not only local structures but distant structures that are significant. Maybe for the sacrum to truly find its balance, something in the atlas and cranial base or something in the diaphragm needs to change to bring this about. Here's a great example of a structure that is reciprocal in nature. It's the outer membranes of the meninges called the dura mater. Can you see how the sides and floor of the cranium is coated in this membrane, as well as the large structures called the falx and tent? These are a C-curve of connected tissue from front to back of the cranium and horizontal nature of the tent that generates a couple of wings. In this image, they are cut to show what lies beneath. The dura mater doesn't end at the cranium. It carries on down the vertebral column as a tube, enclosing the spinal cord and anchors into the sacrum. This remarkable connective tissue is one whole fabric that covers the brain and cord and has several powerful attachments in order to anchor it into the bony midline. The body remembers unresolved traumatic experiences. Here's two examples that help understand the nature of this therapy. Say a client comes to see you for a treatment and has had a relatively trauma-free life. The client lies on the treatment table and you make a hold into the sacrum. You notice in the first few minutes that the dura mater is quite easy to listen into and presents itself as a continuity of tissues from sacrum to cranium. You are able to perceive the shape of the dural tube and the balloon-like structure of the cranial dura. A second client comes in and has a history of trauma. Perhaps they fell on the coccyx in a skiing accident years ago and it's never quite been the same. They had a car accident and sustained a whiplash that badly affected the neck and needed a neck brace for a while. The body has always healed the best it could and optimized around the tissue damage, but how the trauma affecting the general mobility, the spine and other structures in the body. This client gets onto the treatment table and you hold the sacrum. This time what you feel is quite different. There's no sense of the wholeness of the dura mater, but instead what shows is a sectional perception. There's a pulling into the coccyx that creates a taut dura mater from the lumbosacral area down. You notice the thoracic area is relatively free, but the neck is highly compressed and the dura is highly contracted there. Because of this, there's no sense of the upper dura. Over a number of sessions, the body starts to reorganize around these areas, and bit by bit, the dura mater starts to become whole again and show its continuity. Embryological Blueprint. There's great interest in embryology to explain the kind of spaces and movements that arise in treatments. Here's a big moment when the embryo shifts into enfoldment and there's a change of shape from a flat embryonic disc to a curled flex structure. Here it is in more detail. You can see the curling of what will become the neural tube. You can see two rows of blobs developing along the length of the tube that will become muscles, bones, and skin. Here's a fabulous three-dimensional view of enfoldment showing the spaces around the disc, the amniotic and gut sacs, and showing the beginnings of the gut, neural tube, and heart. This is a video showing the enfoldment and unfoldment movements the embryo makes from day 23 after conception to birth. How amazing to see the shift in structure of the central nervous system and the development and placement of the organs. In treatments, you notice these movements that were established in the embryonic phase of life revealing themselves. The neural tube is the epicenter of the body. It's the first structure to arise embryologically that is still with us. It emerged as a fluid-filled space, then neurulated around this space to generate the brain and cord. The body essentially grows outward from this space. The fluid space is still there, hiding at the center of the body as ventricles, the central canal, and the subarachnoid space. The brain loves floating in an aquatic state. Its weight goes from 1.5 kilograms to 25 to 50 grams as it floats in its cerebrospinal fluid. Amazing. And it means the core of the body feels very fluid-like. We call this the fluid midline. Here's the sequence of growth around the neural tube. The brain concertinas to produce its curvatures and flexures. Still the fluid midline continues on, even with all the tremendous growth and development of the body. Here's the growth of the cerebrum like a mushroom hat on the neural tube, and the hindbrain growing out behind the brainstem. So at our center we are water. Something about the vast complexity of the brain sitting in and on the simplicity of fluid-filled spaces is fascinating. Perceptual fields. BCST often describes what the body is revealing in terms of perceptual fields. These images represent what the body shows you in the narrow perceptual field. It's a field of particular relationships that is oriented to the structural body and all its interrelationships. So it's about specificity, and changes at this level adjust the tissue body. The body likes to expand to a wider field of perception, and in this mode the body goes from specifics to more holistic relationships and dissolves into a fluid state that is amorphous and sponge-like. Adjustments at this level are whole body patterns. Sometimes the body wants to shift to the wider perceptual field, which brings into focus relationships with the natural world around us. The body slows down dramatically and adjusts itself in relationship with the ecosystem and nature. Deep and profound changes occur through the body and mind, bringing a connection back to a blueprint of health. What is BCST? Opening up to your health, becoming highly attuned to your body, dropping into felt sense awareness, trauma resolution, a powerful therapeutic practice, autonomic balance and homeostasis, feeling joy and bliss in your body, rest and stillness, recovery from illness and pathology. Here's a useful book, which is also one of the main course books. Finding embodiment is the important factor in being successful at BCST. Here's a book that will help you find your body and come into sensations. Body Intelligence offers a professional training in BCST. About the course, it's 5-day seminars over 20 to 22 months. You can come to Seminar 1 and see how it fits for you. The seminar experience is mostly presentations, felt sense awareness exercises, hands-on tutors, students pairing up around touch exercises, and of course discussing the nature of the work. There's a continuous assessment process. There's home study, which includes some written pieces, some experiential pieces, and most importantly, practice sessions. And there is a mixture of tutors, there are assistant tutors, senior tutors, and there's a rotating number of tutors so that you will experience the work from different tutors. The training is accredited by 6 associations worldwide and is part of the BCST affiliation of colleges. And the training is about bringing you into a confidence around going into practice. Any questions, please contact our administration or call your local contact. You can find this information on the Body Intelligence website.